August 8th, 1944, 2 months after Villers-Bocage. Michael Wittman is now a captain and acting commander of his battalion. Yet as Wittman's career soars, Hitler's army in Normandy is headed towards destruction. Now the Allies launch a decisive punch, codenamed Operation Totalize. British and Canadian armor storms along the Caen-Falaise road, smashing 14 kilometers through the German lines towards the village of Sinto. As 300 Allied tanks bear down on Sinto, the 12th SS Panzer Division is ordered to bar their advance. With the remnants of the heavily outnumbered division is Captain Michael Wittman, with a small group of Tiger tanks. The division's leader, Colonel Kurt Mayer, now orders an immediate counterattack.
Wittman's Tigers were standing ready behind a hedge east of Sinto. We had to risk the attack in order to win time.
It was almost suicidal for the Germans to mount that attack, but this was their system. If they were hit, they would hit back immediately.
Wittman is in reserve, but he insists on leading the attack.
Michael said to me, I must be in the attack myself, for the other officers can barely cope.
Kurt Mayer knows the situation is hopeless.
I shook Michael Wittman's hand. Michael laughed his youthful laugh and climbed into his Tiger.
And so Michael Wittman sets off on the attack. Just 8 German tanks advancing against 300 Allied tanks.
I don't think Wittman is exactly a fatalist. I don't think that he just figured that he was going to die, maybe this was the best place to do it. Wittman and probably his crew didn't think so much about their own personal safety as the overall war effort.
What Wittman doesn't know is there is a hidden danger waiting for him on either side of the Caen-Falaise road. British tanks of the Northamptonshire Yeomanry are lying in wait in the woods to his right. Canadian tanks of the Sherbrooke Fusiliers are hidden behind a wall to his left.
We drove off, Michael right of the road and I left of the road. Approximately 800 meters to Michael's right, there was a small wood, which looked suspicious.
British tanks hidden in the woods observe Wittman.
There were certainly four Tigers, which came down on what would have been our side of the main road. The Canadians of the Sherbrooks were, as far as I can see, actually much nearer, but they were on the other side of the main road.
The Canadian tanks are hidden from Wittman's view behind a long chateau wall.
We sneaked up right beside a brick wall and got in reasonable cover. Just hit the wall just enough that you could get your gun, that you could move it sufficiently. I could see on the right the first German tanks came out from Sinto. Right away, I can remember the wireless net becoming active. I can see them, I can see them.
I saw this Tigers come in, across in front of us, about 1,200 yards away. My tank commander, he said, we'll wait till they get to about 800 yards.
We drove about 1 to 1.5 kilometers.
I was now starting to get a bit itchy.
The Allies not only have the element of surprise, they have a new tank, the Sherman Firefly. The Firefly, upgunned with a powerful 17-pounder cannon, is able to penetrate 130 millimeters of steel. Enough for even the thickest armor on a Tiger.
for the first time, we realized that we now had a tank which was equal to the Tiger.
Wittman's Tigers are now in the kill zone.
With my eyes, I could see the tank closest to the road, about 200 yards, I guess.
The tank commander said, "Advance driver," and we pull out of cover. As we pull out of cover, he says, "Target the rear Tiger." I fired.
We began taking heavy fire, and then I received a radio message from Michael.
Achtung! Achtung! Von rechts!
I looked round at the second tank. I fired one shot at the second tank. The loader reloads, getting fired when ready.
3 of the 4 Tigers are now knocked out. Wittman's tank moves on alone. From close range, the Canadians now open fire at Wittman's tank.
One that he was in, I think, went by me. Other people from my squadron were firing at it now.
Wittman's Tiger is hit.
When I got to within 300 meters of Michael's Tiger, flames suddenly shot from the tank.
I can remember a tremendous explosion and seeing the turret hit the ground.
August 8th, 1944. Michael Wittman has fought his final battle.
Whether his last thoughts as he went down the road were simply, "Valhalla, here I come," a sort of a death wish. He must have known there was no way they were going to win.
August 25th, just days after Wittman's death, the German army in Normandy is defeated. Many of Hitler's soldiers remain in Normandy, buried in La Cam German military cemetery. Somber gravestones recall the unheralded end of the Nazi Empire. Yet Michael Wittman is still celebrated.
I think there's a myth to Michael Wittman's combat experiences. People look at him as, yes, being a Nazi, but it's not the reason that they admire his abilities in combat. I think if you're on the receiving end of that, you're going to have a different perspective.
He accepted the doctrines of Hitler enough to get in his tank and invade other people's countries, country after country, to kill men, women and children. He might have been a hero to the Germans, but not to me.